Back in Morgantown, 7-6, second half, just about ready to roll. Let's go downstairs with Quinn Kesnick standing by with Bill Stewart.
Coach, what was the single key development of that first half?
Absolutely super defense by our guys, keeping us in the game. Offense, no rhythm whatsoever, none.
What needs to change to get rhythm?
Get the ball to number 7, get some holes, so give him a little spacing, and make good, sharp decisions on passing. If we do that, we're going to be just fine.
Thanks, Coach.
You betcha.
All right, thanks a lot, Quint. And John, talking with Bill Stewart yesterday, said he would like to see some of the twos, the backups play, but that's not going to happen with a 7-6 game.
Not at all, and you hope for that Noel Devine's ankle that he injured just before halftime is closer to 100% or somewhere in that neighborhood, so he can go at full tilt, because they're going to need him in the second half. But more importantly, I think they're going to need Jared Brown throwing the football around accurately to take some pressure off of that running game.
Well, West Virginia getting ready to kick it off for the second half. Devine with 13 carries, 57 yards in the first half. Tyler Bittenkurt with the kickoff. A week ago it was Josh Leiter. And the return, Jacques Caldwell. He lets it hit, and Guy better jump on top of it. And they're going to start from the 20-yard line. And let's take a look now at our Papa John's first half highlights.
Well, there wasn't much to talk about, but Noel Devine was trying to get outside, but this defense, both defenses really played well in limiting the opportunities. And here, a big interception by Chaz Thompson in the back of the end zone. Devine, this is where he gets injured, that left ankle, right before halftime. So it was a big play on the outside, the screenplay all set up to let Jock Sanders get in behind those big guys. But the opportunity by Louisville setting up before halftime on that big run back set up the opportunity for this field goal to bring the lead and the score to 7-6 Mount.
Second half, Will Stein is going down. Julian Miller just picked up his 10th career sack, 6.5 this year, their second today. So the Mountaineers defense pinned their ears back, and that's their 21st sack on the season.
Well, head coach Bill Stewart talked to Quint coming out of halftime, and he said this Mountaineer defense has really been the key to keeping us in this football game, and they've done a nice job of pressuring the pocket that time. Julian Miller coming in from the outside and doing a great job, but this defense has to keep setting the tone and providing field position for their offense.
Stein fumbles the snap that time, and that West Virginia defense creating havoc down there on the line of scrimmage right now as we go downstairs with Quinn Kesnick.
Mike, Chris Neal came out of the locker room. He's still in his uniform. This is the nose guard for West Virginia. Ice on his left tricep. I've been told it's a shoulder injury. He's okay to play sparingly was the word that I got from the trainers here at West Virginia.
Well, they say Neal has been playing like a man possessed. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, named the defensive champion 5 times already this year. Jeff Castile saying any given Saturday they could give it to Neal or Reed Williams, the middle linebacker. 3rd and 16 now. Just looking for some running room for Ashley. Bounces off a would-be tackler. Had to get way out to the 30-yard line, so they'll have to punt it 6 yards shy. Picked up 9 on the play, however. Keith Tandy coming up to make the stop from his cornerback spot for West Virginia.
Well, maybe this defense can add some spark to special teams and offense, because they've done an excellent job, have the Mountaineers, and really gaining field position for their offense. They've done a nice job of limiting the opportunities that Louisville's had in the plus territory.
Getchie just shy of his 15. It's a low kick, and it's going to be taken at the 39 by Jock Sanders. And check that, it was Hogan with the catch, a 6-yard return after the 37-yard punt as we check the numbers after the first 30 minutes.
The total yards very even. You can see 170 for Louisville and 171 for West Virginia, but the turnover is a factor, and also third down conversions. Only 3 of 8 for Louisville, 3 of 7 for the Mountaineers. So the Mountaineers are going to get great field position again, close to the 50-yard line. They're going to start at the 44, and let's see what type of attack that offensive coordinator Jeff Mullen has put together for this second half.
Louisville a year ago, 474 yards of offense, but didn't have an answer for Devine and Pat White. Here's Brown, fires, and it should have been a completed football. And it goes through the hands of Ryan Clark, the redshirt freshman fullback.
Well, you like the play call, Mike, on first down, trying to get that fullback outside. And Jared Brown actually, after the play fake, goes outside and throws an accurate football. As you take another look at Noel Devine's ankle, hopefully they're taking a look, maybe retape it to get him back into this football game.
Tavon Austin, the young freshman. That's Jock Sanders coming out of the backfield. Swings it out, and he's still on his feet. Some running room at the 40 inside the 40-yard line. Finally, Daniel Covington drives him out of bounds. He picks up 18 on the play.
We talked about it earlier that 50% of this offense comes out of Noel Devine and Jock Sanders. Well, Jock Sanders comes out and does an excellent job on this bubble screen to the wide side, splitting the defenders right there. And what quickness he possesses through that tackle and gets to the outside to get a first down and get that ball into positive territory right around the third.
Jock Sanders in that interview. Devine wasn't sure who was faster, he or Jock Sanders. Sanders again getting some carries now from the backfield. And remember, he was recruited here as a running back before moving out to the slot. And Tavon Austin, the young freshman who's out in the slot as well, backing up Jock Sanders. Jeff Mullen says he'll probably be the heir apparent to Noel Devine in the backfield someday.
Well, they have, Mike, they have such great guys, but smallish sizes. You talked about Austin going in at 5'9", Noel Devine at 5'8", Rogers at 5'8", and Sanders at 5'7". So very diminutive backs, but they can all move and got great acceleration to the outside.
Inside 12 minutes, the third quarter now to the shotgun. And this time, Brown in the red zone. 15-10, Brown sniffing out that end zone, and there's going to be a penalty flag possibly right there. Number 4, Chaz Thompson throws him to the ground, and the flag has been dropped. He picked up 23 on the play, and that was from the get-go. That was a run for Brown.
Yeah, that was a great job by Jared Brown, and we talked about his running ability in the first half, and he did an excellent job of play faking. The play fake on the Big East breakdown, we saw him with great ball skills. That time, great ball skills, getting to the outside and showing him. You know, we talked about the smaller backs. This time Jared Brown goes at 6'4", so you get the small guys on the outside with speed, but they get the big guy at quarterback that can run and throw the football.
After the play, dead personal foul. The defense laid hit on the quarterback. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Good job and very deceptive with that ball fake and that zone running play, and you're going to see the tackle well out of bounds. Could have almost been a horse collar too from the front side by Chaz Thompson, but he gets the personal foul, and I can see why Jared Brown was upset after that play.
That's a frustration play by Chaz Thompson. I mean, we talked about the rhythm that this West Virginia team never found against South Florida. Had very little rhythm in the first half. Well, now they're finding that rhythm, and Thompson could feel it. Out of the shotgun, empty backfield now for Jared Brown. Penalty flag drop.
Offense.
The Mountaineers going back.
Number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's big Josh Jenkins, number 77, the redshirt freshman from Parkersburg, West Virginia.
And Mike, you can remember in the first half where they had that delay of game penalty that upset Coach Stewart on the sidelines. This time they have a procedure penalty that moves them back, maybe not to the 15 like it did in the first half, but they're still inside the. Let's see if West Virginia now can overcome their mistakes inside in the plus territory, inside the 20. They can cash in now for 6 points.
Penalty flag dropped before this one got rolling. Ulrich Arnett, number 82, was on the field. Came off the field. But Arnett was coming back on the field.
There was only 11 on the field. Therefore, there is no foul. Timeout, West Virginia.
Well, Jeff McGonigal, there was only 11 on the field. I think you meant to say there was only 10 until Arnett was coming.
Yeah, I thought we were
11.
going to Canada with the 12th guy pretty soon.
Now the Mountaineers are on the move, up 7-6. Taking the ball on the first possession here in the second half, and they are knocking on the door inside the 10-yard line. Ball resting at the 9 for Bill Stewart. Bill Stewart, who said he was in a feisty mood and he was looking for a fist fight. And I would have loved to be in the locker room at halftime, a game like this, be a fly on the wall or maybe sneak a camera in there, because I'd love to see what Bill Stewart said to his team. West Virginia fans spent Thanksgiving weekend with Coach Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers at the 76 Classic in Anaheim, California. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com.
Yeah, you're right. I bet it was very inspirational, to say the least, at halftime.
And another penalty flag.
False start. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And this time it's Don Barclay, the redshirt sophomore from Cranberry, Pennsylvania, and Bill Stewart's troops are moving backwards.
And this is not good. You know, West Virginia comes out defensively. They go 3 plays and out. Now offensively, they put a couple of nice plays together, and now they're starting to go backwards with mental errors. And today they've had 4 penalties for 25 yards. They came into the game today 4th in the Big East.
Averaging just 5.5 penalties a game. Out of the gun. They hand it off, and Jock Sanders is inside the 10. The line of scrimmage was at the 9. We're sitting inside Milan Puskar Stadium, Morgantown, West Virginia, the home of the Mountaineers. Mountaineers taking on the Louisville Cardinals, along with former Pitt quarterback John Congemi, Mike Gleason here, Quinn Kesnick down on the sidelines. As always, great to have you with us here for the Big East Network Game of the Week. Mountaineers working out of the I formation. From razzle dazzle, Tavon Austin, and he's hit just shy. Just shy. It's a touchdown. They give it to him, his 3rd this year. So he scored on a 98-yard kickoff against UConn, a 58-yard pass reception against East Carolina, and now on the reverse, Tavon Austin, the young freshman, gets in the end zone.
Well, another example of West Virginia's speed at the skill position. He just outruns the inside defense and then powers his way right through Daniel Covington about the 1-yard line, and that ball does break the plane. Austin gets into the end zone, and West Virginia finds a way to overcome themselves on that drive.
Well, I think our replay showed that he broke the plane, but they're going to take another look at it upstairs to see if he was stopped before hitting that white line. Now, keep in mind, all you have to do is get the ball on the white line. And Covington doing a good job coming up to make the stick, but there he is right there inside the pylon. And Noel Turner, the replay official up in the booth, no doubt.
That was a great effort about inside the 2-yard line of trying to reach and stretch and get that ball to break the plane of the end zone before his knee touched. Take another look from the end zone cut. Watch the effort here, and good blocking out in front by Ryan Clark that allows him to get into the end zone. Now that right knee touches. It all depends on the official's judgment of did the ball break the plane before that right knee hits around the 1-yard line. It's very tough to make that call. This might be the best look at it. If you can see his right knee
right
there.
Well, yeah, you're right.
It may be just short of the goal line.
Keep in mind, they're looking for indisputable video evidence. And you're right, John. Maybe that right knee did touch before.
The ruling on the field stands as called touchdown.
Well, apparently they didn't have indisputable video evidence, so the touchdown stands for Tavon Austin.
And that was a great effort by Tavon Austin to take that reverse and get inside and follow great blocking by Ryan Clark, their fullback.
You know, Austin has a YouTube highlight reel that goes 11 minutes, and in those 11 minutes, you don't see him get tackled once.
Pretty good.
Bittenkurt on for the PAT, right down the middle for Tyler. And the Mountaineers are on the board with their 2nd touchdown. John, take us in the end zone with Austin.
Yeah, Tavon Austin does a great job of moving the football on the reverse and showing great effort for the score.
Oh, back in Morgantown, 10:32 to go in the 3rd quarter. Now 14-6 West Virginia. No rhythm in the first half, but they definitely had some rhythm on that drive.
Yeah, they did a nice job in the last 2 drives, actually, Mike. 158 yards and 2 touchdowns after the first 5 drives only went for 89 yards and an interception. So the Mountaineers found some magic coming out after halftime, really coming over the adversity of their own mistakes inside the 15-yard line with a couple procedure calls that makes Bill Stewart a lot happier head coach on their sideline. So right now, the defense has set the tone the entire game for the Mountaineers. They've done a nice job of limiting the opportunities for Louisville, and let's see if that'll continue for the Mountaineers. And on the other side, Louisville didn't come out and exactly light it up in their first 3 plays, so they're going to have to find some rhythm offensively themselves.
The kick from Bittenkurt, and Jacques Caldwell watches it go out of bounds. And again, that's not going to sit well with head coach Bill Stewart. He didn't like that last week. That's what cost Josh Leiter his kicking job on kickoffs.
Kick out of bounds. Kicking team. The ball be placed at the 40-yard line. 1st down.
Well, Coach Stewart's upset on the sidelines, and he has every right to be coach, but he coaches, you know, the kickoff cover team. So that's something that's inexcusable, to really kick the ball out of bounds. So you know that's very frustrating. It doesn't sit well with Coach Stewart.
Here come the Cardinals now, down 14-6. 37-yard field goal and a 44-yard field goal for the Cards, and Will Stein Leads him back on the field now. One back setup. Darius Ashley, the redshirt freshman, tries to turn the corner inside the 40. Well, he's 5'8", but he puts his shoulder down and he runs with some authority.
Well, all these running backs, you talk about Ashley and a young guy, a freshman. They know how to finish their runs, and you've seen Powell do it today, and you've seen Noel Devine do it. You've seen Jock Sanders do it on the other side. These guys finish runs, and that's what you like to see if you're an offensive coach.
Ashley said he knew he'd have to wait his turn behind running backs like Victor Anderson and Bilal Powell. There's Ashley again, spinning up over the 50. And he finally got a chance to play against Pittsburgh, and then he dinged up his shoulder, so he was out for a while. And if you just joined us now as Sowers makes the stop for West Virginia, Will Stein is quarterbacking for the second straight week. I mean, all three quarterbacks, Adam Froman, Will Stein, Justin Burke, all have victories for Louisville, but here's Stein at 5'8", leading the parade again.
Here's a good chance after just moving the set of downs, moving the chains to go up top.
Mountaineers showing blitz at the top of your screen. Here they come. Nice job by Louisville picking up that blitz from the top of your screen. Incomplete pass, intended receiver Cameron Graham.
And that's probably the toughest pass that Will Stein will have to face is directly over the middle when you don't get a lot of push up front and you have a wall of people in front of you at his size around 5'8", 5'9". That's the most difficult throw you have is trying to get that throwing lane when you have no wall or no lanes or no windows to throw up in front of you.
Out of the I formation, Ashley picks up maybe a yard, pushed back by a lot of yellow jerseys. See number 31 in on the tackle, Pat Lazier making the initial contact. So here comes a big third down situation now, 3rd and 9. Ashley now 16 for 76. He had 13 for 77 and a couple of touchdowns in that victory over Arkansas State. Cardinals 3 of 9 this afternoon on third down conversions. Coming in, they were at 41%.
And here comes the pressure.
Stein tucks it, and he's going nowhere. Again, a yard maybe. Julian Miller making the stop.
We've called Julian Miller's name a bunch today, and he's done a nice job from that defensive end spot of recognizing running plays outside and inside and coming off his pressure that time on the rush on the outside and finding Will Stein. He's just going to come from underneath, and he does a nice job of getting off the blocks and finding the young quarterback.
Getchie punting just over his 40. Brandon Hogan calling for the fair catch back at the 10, and it hits. And it goes out of bounds. A 31-yard punt. Hogan called for the fair catch. Hogan was standing in the middle of the field, and Getchie, I think this one got away from him, went out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. We're going to step away now. The Mountaineers grabbing some of that big mo. They're up 14-6. They have the ball when we come back. .8:17 to go in the third quarter, 14-6. You see Mike Joseph there, the strength and conditioning coach for West Virginia. And at halftime, we showed you Quint going through the rigors in the weight room with Mike Joseph working out with some of the redshirt players. And Quint held up pretty well, actually, and running up that hill behind the stadium, he actually did very, very well compared to some of the big linemen. And Quint, a four-time All-American in lacrosse, showing his stuff in the weight room, and there he is. He must have did that hill about 4 or 5 times.
I was very impressed.
Quint, how you feeling down there?
I'm feeling okay. My legs are starting to get a little sore. I tell you, my grip from that big wide bar we used on the lat machine, my grip is absolutely burnt today. I thought it was really interesting, though, the tempo that was set in that weight room. And every team in the country talks about how hard they work in there. But I saw it firsthand, a lot of pride. You see a bunch of the guys behind me, actually, some of the freshmen in the red shirts now who sit behind the bench and get to watch on Saturdays.
Well, Q, you did us proud.
Absolutely.
As Jock Sanders trying to do his team proud, gets up to the 20. Mike Joseph, the strength and conditioning coach, incidentally, is a former high school teammate of our producer, John Kettering, from Fairmont West High School. There he is,
Polar
right there.
Bears, that's right.
Polar Bears, yeah. And Quint, you should know that John Kettering talked to him and said, really, really, really work him hard. Noel Devine is back on the field after injuring his ankle back in the first half. Devine is over 1,000 now on the year. There's Devine swinging out. Well, he's 5'8". He runs so low to the ground, huh? And he cuts on a dime.
He has that low center of gravity, and that pad level so low. And, you know, Jock Sanders does that as well. Austin does that as well. But more about Sanders and Devine. They really can scoot. And they can. It doesn't look like they're going very fast, but they're moving.
Oh, geez. 13 100-yard games, a couple of 200-yard games. And Bill Stewart said if there's a better player out there in the country, he hasn't seen him. Jarrett Brown trying to keep that momentum rolling now for West Virginia. Jock Sanders at the 25, slipped. And decent coverage by Louisville. There's number 4, Chaz Thompson up there. But he gains 9 on the play before slipping.
And that was a good read by Jarrett Brown. He saw the blitz coming from the wide side. You're going to see the blitz coming from here. And he's going to get rid of this football right away because he knows he's got man coverage on the outside. And he's going to give his playmaker, Jock Sanders, some room with the football. So that was a good job, but just come up about a half a yard short on 3rd down.
So Scott Kozlowski back on the field to punt for West Virginia. And Scott Ratcliffe, the deep man, standing at about the 33-34 yard line of Louisville. Low line drive, spiraling kick. Ratcliffe back at the 19. Ratcliffe, he's going down at the 20. 54-yard punt, 2-yard return. And the Cardinals still in the ball game, down 14-6. They'll have the football when we come back, led by the 5'8" quarterback, Will Stein. Today's Big East Network game is brought to you by the 76 Classic on Thanksgiving weekend. For tickets and travel, visit 76classic.com. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Vote now at coachoftheyear.com. Mike Gleason along with John Congemi and JC. I may vote you Coach of the Year because so many times in the booth this year you've called the play right at the right time.
Well, you and my wife Carmela, that might be the only 2 votes I get.
All right, what are we going to see here now from young Will Stein?
Well, it's going to be tough for Louisville right now because they've only moved it 48 yards today. That's their longest drive, so they've got to go 79 to get pay dirt. You have to put something plays together.
Ashley, little stutter step, gets up to the 25.
Ashley, the ball carrier.
And the Mountaineers defense playing pretty good football here today.
Yeah, 2 sacks, tackles for loss in 3. They've broken up 2 passes, and they forced 1 fumble. And Tandy leads all tacklers with 5 total tackles. But this defense has been running to the football. They've done a great job, and that's why Louisville's longest drive has only been 48 yards, resulting in a field goal.
And Keith Tandy, of course, the young cornerback who took all the heat after that USF game. Here's Ashley, and he's nowhere to go. He tried to cut back, and Anthony Leonard came in to make the initial contact, a loss of 1. Leonard came in to play middle linebacker in the second half of that UConn game and kept the tempo going defensively. It was a nice job that time.
Yeah, that was a great job on the outside, though, by Allen. He was the first guy there that forced the running back to the inside and to all of his help, and that's where the help was, inside the tackles.
3 of 10 in 3rd downs for Louisville today. This one's a 3rd and 6. Stein over the middle, and it's complete to his tight end. That's Cameron Graham. He's going to be shy of the sticks. And so Steve Craigthorpe now with 5 minutes and 12 seconds to go. He's going to have to send out Corey Getchie with another punt.
Well, Jeff Castile, the Mountaineers defensive coordinator, the last 2 times on 3rd down, brought pressure from the field, and that made Will Stein maybe get rid of the football a little bit quicker, check it down a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and it kept the Cardinals short of advancing on that 3rd down opportunity.
6 punt today for Corey Getchie at about his 20. This one's partially deflected or shanked. The spin on the ball definitely changed as it went over the line of scrimmage. It's going to be shy of their own 45. A 15-yard punt. His last one went 31.
I think this is just a good old 6-iron off the hosel, Mike. This one goes dead right. Yeah, I've done that before, right, on the other green grass. But that time it's one that Louisville would like to have back because the Mountaineers now with momentum have instant field position.
Well, the Big East Network brings you more exciting college football action next Saturday, November 14th. Arthur Jones and Syracuse heading into Papa John's Stadium to take on the Louisville Cardinals. And you can see all the action at noon Eastern right here on the Big East Network. Jarrett Brown going for the juggler right away, looking down the middle. And he was looking and couldn't quite find number 14. That's Bradley Starks. Penalty flag down at the 5-yard line, however. Not me.
Boy, that looked like a great throw by Jarrett Brown. I'm not sure. They may reverse this call.
It's Jeff McConaughey, the referee out of the Big East.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 19. 15 yards. Automatic. First down.
Well, the officials were talking, and it looked like they may pick up the flag. We're going to take another look. Splits the defenders right there, and unless the body, the left shoulder of Johnny Patrick was impeding the receiver to get to the football, and Bradley Starks, the shove right from behind, maybe the contact right before the ball got there. There's the call.
Brown looking for Tavon Austin, incomplete at about the 21. That's the 6th penalty now on the Cardinals. And you know, Johnny Patrick has started all 8 games. We talked about the 6 different starting combinations in the secondary this year for Louisville because of all the injuries. The junior out of Florida.
May see that bubble screen to the wide side again with Sanders in that running back position.
There's Jock Sanders with the call inside the 25. Just inside the 25. He picks up 3 on the play with 4:14 and counting here in the 3rd quarter from Morgantown.
Well, it's important for West Virginia to get some points and preferably 7. Great field position and try to get on top of this game and make it really tough for offensively for Louisville to score some points.
Jarrett Brown, number 2 in the Big East total offense. 232 yards a game, just 88 passing in the first half. Now trying to get something going out of the gun, fires, and looking for Jock Sanders and had to turn him around. Had to do a 360 to pull that one in.
Louisville brought pressure on 3rd down. They brought it from the outside, and normally you would think you'd like to attack down the field. When they bring everybody and they're in man-to-man coverage, you'd like to get your playmakers running away from people from the outside to the end because it's a much easier throw for the quarterback than inside out, which was done on 3rd down. So Brent Guy dialing up some pressure on 3rd down.
42 yards now for Tyler Bittencourt. He's 1 for 2 from this distance so far this year. And wow, he got all of that one. Could have kicked that one from 52 or further. So Tyler Bittencourt puts 3 more points on the board. All season long, Champion Apparel will be showcasing the tradition and history of the Big East Conference. And today we take a look at West Virginia, number 5, Pat White. He's had a lot of success against these Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, he was pretty special, not only against Louisville, but whoever they lined up. He made plays with his legs and did a good job. He was underrated as a passer, I believe, in college. He did a nice job of throwing the football more in his senior year, but his legs were working all 4 years, that's for sure.
Look at the numbers, huh? No touchdowns in 05, but then 4, 3, and 5 touchdowns. Wow. You know, you go back to that 07 game, 147 passing for 181, but 38-31. Louisville came in with a 5-4 record that year, but it took a 50-yard run by Pat White with 1:36 to go to pull that one out.
Yeah, just incredible numbers just against the Cardinals, and you can see it in the resulting in touchdowns. Just an incredible playmaker was Pat White.
17-6 now with 3:42 to go as we take a look at Jacques Caldwell and Trent Guy, the deep men back for Louisville. And Tyler Bittencourt ready to kick off again for West Virginia.
And Mike, again, the key for Louisville, they need to cut the field in half. They've not been able to drive 60 and 70 and 80 yards against this Mountaineer defense. Anytime they've had success today, they've cut the field in half. Their longest drive has been 48 yards. So they need a terrific return here on this opportunity.
Trent Guy going back into the end zone, and he will wide. So the Cardinals now will start from the 20-yard line, 80 yards away. Let's check downstairs with Quinn.
Mike, Noel Devine sat out that last series for West Virginia with the high ankle sprain, his left ankle. He had retaped it, played the prior series, tested it out, obviously didn't like the way it felt. He's now sitting on the sideline. He has untaped his ankle. He's got ice on it. It does not appear as if he'll come back in this ball game.
Well, Devine, as we mentioned earlier, did go over 1,000 yards. Number 5 on the all-time list here at West Virginia. Of course, Avon Coburn, number 1 with over 5,100 yards. It'll be interesting to see if number 7 comes back next year or not. Ashley spins, fights his way up close to the 24, gain of 4 on the play.
Yeah, I think it will be an interesting decision for Noel Devine, and I think it's a wise decision today for him to stay on the sidelines, because I think they're going to get this game under control with the way the defense is playing, and their offense is starting a little bit momentum in the second half. You want him healthy down the stretch, because as we talked about, this November is very important for them with Cincinnati on the horizon, and you got Pittsburgh after that, and he's the most important cog in this offense.
Would you say at the top 35% of the offense was Devine?
Yeah.
15, Jock Sanders with the left side. The moving the change now. The Cardinals pick up the first down, getting up over the 30-yard line. Gain of 8 on the play for Darius Ashley.
Been impressed with Darius Ashley today and the way he's run the football outside and showing some toughness inside the tackles and spinning, always moving. You know, the one fumble he had was on a second and third effort, and it was a good hit by Pat Lazier, but it was one of those things where he was trying to make yards.
Today's 1st and 10 line is brought to you by Overstock.com. Ashley now 20 carries for 91. Stein wants to swing it out to Ashley, and great coverage by Keith Tandy. Saw that Tandy was leading the tackle parade with 5 and sniffed that one out, and it's going to be a loss on the play of 1 or 2.
You know, both of these cornerbacks for West Virginia, they were high school quarterbacks, and they need to start recruiting some true corners in the future, but these guys have adapted well. No balls have been thrown deep over their heads today. They've come up and made all the tackles they're supposed to make.
2nd and 12, guy in motion. They keep it on the ground. Ashley hits that yellow wall at the line of scrimmage, maybe gets a yard or 2 on the play. There's Noel Devine.
Well, this 3rd down opportunity for Louisville will probably be the most important play of the game right now, because they have to keep this drive alive. You can tell that the Mountaineer fans are starting to get back into it. They're 3rd and 11 on 3rd down opportunities, and this one's a big one at 3rd and 10. They have to keep this drive alive, because if they don't, they're going to give the field position battle back to West Virginia.
A couple of weeks ago, they were 10 of 15 against UConn on 3rd down. Last 3 games, 53%. Stein. He's feeling the pressure. Plus, from the pocket, penalty flags littering the field. And he wisely throws it out of bounds, but we'll await the call. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be a holding call against the Cards.
It looked like it.
Holding. Offense. Number 55. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Mario Benavides, the 6'4", 300-pound redshirt freshman.
The pressure's coming from Will Stein's left as he tries to go that way. The hold, there's a couple of holds that you could have called. There was multiple flags on the play, so Stein throws it away, but Bill Stewart and the Mountaineers decline it, and they'll bring their punt return team onto the field.
Mountaineers bringing good pressure from that right side. Will Stein's left all afternoon. Getchy now from the 20. What? Again? What did you say he did the last time?
He got it off the hosel. The first time might have been a 6-iron. That looked like a wedge.
A 22-yard punt. So he's got a 15-yard punt, a 31-yard punt, 22. We're inside Milan Puskar Stadium here in Morgantown, along with John Congemi, Quinn Kestic, Mike Gleason here. Great to have you with us. You know, John, you being a former Pittsburgh quarterback, you'll get a kick out of quarterbacking Louisville today. He said, I wasn't sure if I was going to play, but this is the kind of game you want. You're underdog, you're on the road, and I wanted to throw batteries at me. Did you ever get hit with a battery here?
Well, there's been some, playing at Pittsburgh and being the rival with West Virginia, there's been some stuff that you could say, yeah, I've been hit with this and been hit with that, but bad snap.
And who's going to get it? Louisville says they have the football. And they have it.
Recovered by Louisville.
And Will Stein is going to get another opportunity to get some points on the board. As the Louisville Cardinals, they have an INT and a fumble recovery now. So,
well, it looked like Josh Jenkins come out of the pile with the football for West Virginia. really hasn't been any signals.
The ruling on the field that Louisville recovered the ball. First down.
That's a good point you bring up about Josh Jenkins. Against USF, Chris Neal thought he had a touchdown, and he only got a safety on the play.
Well, Eric Jobe had that well over the 6'4" quarterback Jared Brown's head, and Brown just got a finger on it, but actually tipped it back to the Louisville defense. And I'm not sure who had it on the bottom of that pile. Right now, John Dempsey has it, but he's not on the ground. But I think his teammate on the ground, he was trying to force the football to him so he could hide it from the Mountaineers, and they're going to get excellent field position on the Mountaineer side of the football, of the 50.
Wow, Ashley puts his head down, and he's going to have another first down just shy of the 30-yard line. Nate Sowers, former quarterback, he comes up to make the stop. A gain of 11 on the play.
We talked about running backs finishing runs, and that time Darius Ashley finished the run around the 31-yard line. Just a terrific job of squaring those pads up, getting low and running behind your shoulder pads, and he delivered the blow on that play.
Staying in the I formation, again it's Ashley. He trips, and Ashley, well, he still stumbles forward. Gain of 4 or 5 yards. Ashley now over the century mark with 104 yards. And you know, I was joking about the battery thing, of course.
I know.
But
Absolutely.
Randy Edsel coming in here a couple of weeks ago, and he couldn't say enough good things about this West Virginia crowd.
You know what? The best thing about this Mountaineer fan base is that they're passionate about their team. And they come out and they support their team, and they really get up for football games. And it's an event each and every Saturday. So it's fun for us to come in and broadcast a game in this type of atmosphere.
Well, John, we played 45 minutes of football here from Morgantown, so 15 minutes to go. Louisville has the football, 17-6. They trail, heading for the fourth. Here we go, quarter number 4, 17-6. Louisville still in this football game. West Virginia on top. Mike Leeson along with John Congemi. Quinn Kesnick down on the sidelines, the Louisville Cardinals. Now getting back to Will Stein, though, even though I was joking about the battery thing, I could understand where he's coming from, the swagger, saying it's fun going into the opposing team as the underdog.
Well, that's your goal, Mike. And when you come on the road and you're coming into a hostile environment, a crowd that can get as loud as the West Virginia fans can get, the greatest thing you can do is make it quiet. And the way you make it quiet is by putting points on the board, making big plays, and trying to keep your team involved and getting them close. And that's exactly what Will Stein has an opportunity to do in the fourth quarter, only being down 17-6. They have great field position inside the 30-yard line at the 26. They have a chance to build on his 10 for 18, 68-yard performance, make one big play, and they're right back in it.
2 yards he threw for last week. That was more than Froman and Burke had in their first start. There's some movement down front. This one will go against West Virginia. And it'll move it 5 yards closer to the end zone as Larry Ford, number 92, the junior from Georgetown, South Carolina, jumped.
Defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And you mentioned, talking to Quint when he was giving us the update on Chris Neal being out. You have backup guys that are in that 3-3-5. You get Larry Ford jumping a little bit after that timeout in the quarter. So, those things are starting to creep up offensively and now defensively.
Look at the numbers through 3 quarters now. Louisville with 223, West Virginia 241. That's Ashley again inside the 20 as they move into the red zone. And again, last year these Cardinals had 474 yards of offense and a 35-21 loss to West Virginia. But again, no answer for Devine and Pat White.
Well, the good thing, Mike, you talk about Darius Ashley, a freshman. When there's no running room, he's throwing his body forward. He's not going to, take a look and cut to the outside and take a loss of 2 or 3 yards. He's been going north and south.
They stay in the I formation again, 1st and 10. Stein, play action. Eludes the rush, throws up a dangerous shovel pass, if that's what you want to call it. He kind of underhand flipped it there, and there were a lot of yellow jerseys around.
Well, that's the first bad play that I could say that Will Stein has made, because he had Joe Tronzo after the play action. He had him wide open in the flat, and he looked for a bigger play down the field. If he comes out of this play action and just tries, his eyes didn't go to the outside. He went downfield for a bigger play, and Julian Miller almost made him turn the football over.
232 yards passing last week, just 68 so far. 10 of 19. They stay in the I formation. They give it to Ashley. Ashley tries to move the pile, picks up 3 more. Darius Ashley, the redshirt freshman out of Cincinnati, over 100 yards for Steve Craigthorpe. Victor Anderson has not played at all today. Bilal Powell's had a couple of carries, and Ashley's been the workhorse.
Well, here's the situation for Will Stein now. The Mountaineers may bring pressure, so Steve Craigthorpe wants to dial up a play that he can get back, either max protect and go for the end zone, or try something else where you're getting in and moving him outside of the pocket, because everything happens faster once you cross that 20-yard line.
3rd and 8. Stein fires, has his man, it's complete, and it's inside the 10-yard line, still on his feet. Doug Beaumont. And a penalty flag dropped after he goes down, a gain of 13 on the play.
What a great effort by Doug Beaumont, the wide receiver for the Cardinals. Just taking that screen pass, it looked like it was going to be short of the first down, and he ends up moving it inside the 5-yard line.
And John Congemi, 13:33 to go. If they score here, we've got
after
a
the play, personal foul, offense, number 74, late hit,
Jeff Adams,
15-yard penalty. Result of the play is a first down.
That's what we talked about in the UConn game. They move the chains, and then they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, either with a penalty or with a turnover. They did such a great job on 3rd down there. See if we can pick it up. Jeff Adams, 74. He must come in after the play. It's out of our screen, but he's already down on the pile there. 74 in white, should be from the right-hand side, taking a shot at Keith Tandy from behind.
You know, John, Doug Beaumont got so close to the end zone, coming in at 89 receptions in his career, over 1,000 yards, 0 touchdowns. He could feel it, but now it's 1st and 10. Instead of inside the 5, it's back at the 20-yard line. Stein comes out, fires, and Tronzo, the big fullback, inside the 10-yard line. So Joe Tronzo picks up his 5th catch of the year. He picks up 11 on the play.
Great play call by Steve Craigthorpe, because he came right back to the play that Will Stein missed on the last series. And you can see ball control, how even this game has been played in time of possession and number of plays and in total yards. But Steve Craigthorpe did an excellent job. That's a terrific job by the head coach, getting his offense in a positive position.
Keep it on the ground, Ashley. Going to be stopped shy of the 10-yard line. Saw big number 99 at George Wright, the redshirt freshman, making the tackle. A loss of 2 on the play. You look back at the UConn and USF game. Both those games, the Mountaineers were outgained in yardage, and that's a rarity in itself. But an offense like this would be outgained back-to-back games.
It really is, and you take a look at the Louisville offense in the red zone. They come in dead last in the Big East Conference, only at 70.6%. Touchdowns on the year, 12 of them been running, so only 4 through the air.
Ashley in the backfield behind Will Stein. Inside 12 minutes in the ball game. Ashley goes left. And not much running room. He's brought down to the line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of 1. Sidney Glover, Nate Sowers coming over along with J.T. Thomas to make the stop.
And how big is that personal foul on Jeff Adams right now, when Louisville had the ball a couple plays ago inside the 5-yard line? And they've had some positive plays after the penalty, but they're still 3rd and goal at the 10-yard line.
Big play, 11:22 to go. One back setup. It's Ashley behind Will Stein. Stein at 5'8", looking, and he throws it. Touchdown! Louisville Cardinals, and the penalty flag is dropped. And Doug Beaumont would have had his first touchdown. It's a hold against Louisville. Unbelievable. Doug Beaumont, 89 catches, 1,089 yards, no touchdowns, and he should have had that one.
What a good play of keeping the play alive by Will Stein, but it's all going to come back now This is 8 penalties against the Cardinals for 74 yards on the afternoon.
Louisville Cardinals coming in at 3-5 in league play, getting outscored 38-15.
Yeah, second penalty, Mike, on this drive that have really hurt them. They had the ball inside the 5-yard line, and now they take these 2 penalties and they go back for 25 yards in penalty yards. They get the ball now 3rd and goal at the 20, but it takes away a great effort by Doug Beaumont and Will Stein.
Well, they keep hitting that wall, but it's a self-inflicted wall.
And now they have to be careful they don't get out of field position or field goal opportunity position.
Ashley out of the I formation gets the call. Has some running room inside the 15, close to the 10-yard line. J.T. Thomas coming up to make the stop. Gain of 8 on the play, but a 4th down. 4th and goal. Here comes the kicking team.
And some people may say that's very conservative, but that's very smart right now. A lot of time left in the 4th quarter. If you can get away and come away with 3 points here and make it 17-9, you're still 1 possession away from getting back in this football game and tying the score.
Chris Philpott already good from 37 and 44. This one from 19. 29-yard kick. Spotted at the 19, I should say. And it's up and it's good. It's 3 for 3 for Chris Philpott, who replaced Ryan Payne as the field goal kicker here this afternoon. So Steve Craigthorpe, his Cardinals still fighting. 10:22 to go. 17-9. Cardinals trailing West Virginia, ready to kick off to the Mounties. Back in Morgantown, 10:22 to go. Now it's 17-9. Kind of a different scoring drive. It took some time, but not a whole lot of yards.
Yeah, 11 plays. They only went 30 yards, and they had those 2 penalties that sent them back 25 yards, but 5:36 off the clock. So, Louisville's able to get 3 field goals, but they really desperately need a touchdown to get back in this. And a 2-point conversion right now to tie it up. But Will Stein did a nice job of really not turning the football over, doing a good job of coming back to the play he missed on that drive. He got it to his fullback, Joe Tronzo, in the flat, and that kept the drive alive. A bad penalty by Jeff Adams, though. A penalty he shouldn't have taken when Louisville had the ball inside the 5-yard line.
Here comes Chris Philpott. Mark Rogers, Tavon Austin, the deep men. This is Rogers watching it go over his head. Out of the end zone, coming back to the 20. So with our score now 17-9, you check some other Big East scores. Pittsburgh all over Syracuse 37-3. Deion Lewis having another good game.
Another day over 100 yards at 114 and 1 touchdown.
And of course Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, both at 4-0. Cincinnati with UConn tonight under the national spotlight. These West Virginia Mountaineers have to go to Cincinnati next week. Boy, talk about a tough schedule down the road for West Virginia.
Yeah, they've got them all lined up. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Rutgers after this one.
Jarrett Brown under center this time. The handoff. Gain of 3 on the play. Ryan Clark getting a rare carry. Usually a short back situation. The redshirt freshman out of Maryland. Although Bill Stewart did say yesterday during the meeting he'd like to see with Ryan Clark what he could do other than the short yardage situation. 5 touchdowns on the year. Picked up 3 at 2nd and 7. And the Mountaineers give it to Jock. He picks up 7 more.
It's a great example of the backs, the smallish backs, and this time you have Jock Sanders in that position. They offensive linemen, and they've got such a great start. They've got a quick burst in their first couple of steps that they can explode and get 7 yards where it looks like they're really not moving.
1st and 10 line brought to you by Overstock.com. Now the Mounties keeping it on the ground now. Jock Sanders weaving his way through traffic just shy of the 40. Gain of 8 more on the play for Sanders. Richard Ragland coming up to make the stop defensively for Louisville. Yeah, when you're 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", and you have that burst, I mean, it's hard enough for the defender to find them. And all of a sudden, bam, they're by you.
And they're running downhill. There's no hesitation between any of these backs from West Virginia.
Well, Jock Sanders again trying to break to the outside. And he runs right smack into number 6. That's Justin Matthews. But he picked up the first down. Pick up 7. Jock Sanders coming in here just under 7 receptions a game. Now, getting to do what he used to love to do, is carry the football.
Well, this is, I think, what Bill Stewart envisioned coming out and trying to do this in the beginning of the game, trying to run the football downhill and trying to get that offensive line moving people at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack, and it's finally happening late in this football game.
Sanders getting a good block by Tavon Austin on that last carry. Inside, 8.5 minutes now. Jarrett Brown rolling, and fires it out of bounds wisely. Jarrett Brown, his big game this year against East Carolina, 407 yards of total offense. Second behind Pat White and Mark Balger, both had 424. But Pat White, that came against Pittsburgh, so I guess he gets the edge.
Absolutely,
there,
yeah.
In the backyard brawl. You had some of your best games right here, huh? In the stadium.
Well, came out on the losing end my sophomore year, but it was a hard-fought contest down to the wire. I think Jeff Hostler went in with under a couple minutes to go.
Jarrett Brown hurdling over a would-be tackler, finally dragged down after a gain of 2. Jarrett Brown, the last time we did one of their games, he was averaging about 236 passing yards a game. He's under 200 now at 195.
And he may be banged up on that last play. Jarrett Brown doesn't look 100%. He's going to take a knee.
Bill Stewart also saying yesterday he'd like to see Geno Smith get some reps.
Maybe
not this way.
Not this way. And you don't want to go into next week against Cincinnati with your playmaker Noel Devine out, and it looked like an ankle as well, maybe a knee.
Yeah, you can see him grabbing at his face mask, so it had to be painful. So Jarrett Brown, the 5th-year senior quarterback, while they attend to him, Geno Smith gets ready to come in. We're going to take a timeout.
An accident doesn't have to slow you down. From new car replacement and guaranteed repairs to accident forgiveness, we do all we can to help you move on. Liberty Mutual Car Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Papa John wants everyone to know why our pizza's better, so he's bringing it right to them.
Papa's in the house! Firefighters by nature are carnivores.
Introducing Papa John's new 6 Meats Pizza, loaded with 6 delicious meats. For a limited time, get a large 6 Meats Pizza or a large 6 Cheese Pizza. Your choice, just $10.99.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's! We're gonna swap. I get the truck and he gets the car. Papa's in the fire engine!
Premier College Basketball returns to Charleston for the 2nd annual Charleston Classic. Darren Horn's Gamecocks headline a field packed with talent, including Davidson, Miami, Penn State, and South Florida. Catch all the high-flying action live from the Carolina First Arena. Get your tickets today for the Charleston Classic, November 19th, 20th, and 22nd. For ticket information, call 1-843-953-2632 or log on to charlestonclassic.com.
Tune in to Traffic Watch 4 weekday mornings from 5 to 7. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts. You can do it.
I am an example that deaf or hard of hearing children can lead healthy lives with early detection and immediate follow-up with a medical provider.
Kick up your holidays with the Radio City Rockettes at the Benedum Center, November 12th through December 6th. Go to thepittsburghchannel.com and click contest to enter to win free tickets.
Just inside 8 minutes to go, 17-9 West Virginia with the lead and the ball. Jarrett Brown is coming back to the sidelines. First of all, Noel Devine goes out with an ankle.
Yeah, that left ankle was pinned right underneath the tackle, and Brown now looks like his right ankle was pinned underneath a tackler in John Dempsey. So you couple that with nose tackle Chris Neald, and those 3 guys, you know, very important to the cog offensively and, of course, defensively with Neald. So those guys on the sidelines right now for the Mountaineers.
Geno Smith, the true freshman, high school All-American on, working from the shotgun now with 7:59 to go. Dempsey showing some blitz. Here he comes right up the middle. Geno Smith feeling the pressure, swings it out nicely, finds his big tight end, Tyler Urban. Urban shy of the first down, but a nice job of the freshman finding the open receiver.
Yeah, great job on 3rd down, 3rd and long. and he finds the open receiver. He had pressure coming right in his face, and he did a good job of being accurate. The freshman from Miramar High School down in that Fort Lauderdale area, got to see him play in high school, and he was very accurate as a thrower from the pocket then, and he does a good job here versus pressure. Puts it right on Tyler Urban, but short of the first down.
You know, John, some coaches will say punting is the most important play in college football or in football. Louisville, 7 punts, averaging 32. West Virginia, 5 punts, averaging 48. So that can change the field position considerably. And this one hits inside the 5, and it's down by West Virginia. As Wood comes up with it after the 43-yard punt by Kozlowski, who feels a little bit better heading for the sidelines, keeping this one in bounds.
Yeah, he gets a that-a-boy from Coach Stewart because that's what they've been working on.
Another look at Scott Kozlowski, the #1 punter in the Big East Conference. This one down inside the 5, just 7:04 to go, and Louisville has a long way to go. Today's Big East Network game has been brought to you by PNC, leading the way, and by Champion. It's how you play. Welcome back to the Big East Network Game of the Week, presented by PNC. There's a fan that forgot his hair gel earlier today, coming up to the stadium. And now Will Stein, the young freshman quarterback for Louisville. Long way to go. It's 7:04 to, what do you call it here, John?
Something, you like to throw the football out of this situation. Maybe a little play action, but I think it may be more conservative on first down.
And the handoff just barely getting out of the end zone over the line of scrimmage. You know, the last punt by Scott Kozlowski, if you go back to that South Florida game, they punted when they had the ball on the 33-yard line, but they wanted to push South Florida back, and West Virginia fans didn't like it. Well, they punted again, and the Boo Birds came out here inside the stadium, but it turns out to be a pretty good decision because now they're 99 yards away.
Yeah, and Louisville hasn't proven they can move the football more than 48 yards in a drive today.
6.5 minutes to go. I formation from the end zone. Ashley up the middle. Ashley 20, 25, 30. Ashley out of bounds at the 35-yard line. No longer 99 yards away, just picks up 34.
Very impressive as Darius Ashley backed up in his own end zone when he started on this play. And he comes out and he just breaks the tackle right at the line of scrimmage and makes a beautiful move on Robert Sands in the open field. And then he finishes it off with the stiff arm to Keith Tandy. Just a nice job of positive running, tough running inside the tackles. And he goes on the day 30 attempts for 154 yards. So he's had an excellent afternoon.
Timeout. Louisville. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Louisville takes the timeout, and John, you got Victor Anderson, last year's Rookie of the Year. Bilal Powell has been playing well. They're both dinged up, but next year's camp, they're going to have their hands full keeping Ashley out of the starting backfield.
Yeah, 2 juniors and a freshman that'll all get 1 more year of experience. So a great job of filling in for those guys. You know, you thought that Powell did a nice job a couple of weeks ago filling in for Anderson on the road at UConn, and now Ashley doing a nice job on the road at West Virginia filling in for Powell.
6 minutes and 9 seconds to go here from Morgantown, West Virginia. The Mountaineers 6-2, trying to get back on the winning track after losing to the Bulls of South Florida. Cardinals of Louisville snapping a 2-game skid, beating Arkansas State 21-13 last week, and right now down 17-9. They have the football over the 35 at the 36-yard line. Ashley again up over the 40-yard line, a gain of 6. This young man doesn't tire, obviously. Carries now for him.
Well, he came into the game with 31 carries. He just matched that. He has 31 carries today, so he's getting a whole season of work right now in this game, and he's done a nice job, and he looks fresh going deep into the 4th quarter.
Yeah, keep in mind, he was dinged up earlier this year with a shoulder. 160 yards now for Ashley, working out of the I formation as we approach the 5.5-minute mark. Ashley again. Sowers comes up from a safety spot to make the initial contact. Let's take a look now at our Polaris ORV. Hardest working a player of the game.
Yeah, and it's Darius Ashley. He's done a great job of running the football effectively on the outside. 33 carries, 164 yards, and he's done it every way you could conceivably run the football. He's done a great job on the perimeter. He's done a good job inside the tackles. He's protected the football. He fumbled once, but that was trying to get a couple of extra yards in the middle of that tough Mountaineer defense.
Running out of the I formation again, having success out of the I. Ashley hits the right side. A gain of 1. Inside 5 minutes now, 4 minutes and 49 seconds. Clock is moving.
At some point, Mike, they're going to have to come back and fake to him and try to get Joe Tronzo out in the flat, because they've been very hesitant, has Steve Cragthorpe and that offensive staff, of throwing the football in the second half, but they're going to have to make some easy throws on the perimeter to take some pressure off of this running game.
A couple of weeks ago against UConn, this Louisville team had almost 500 yards of offense, but shot themselves in the foot with fumbles and penalties. Stein rolling out, looking for Long, has him inside the 40-yard line. Hogan on the coverage that time, and they're going to call it incomplete. Looked like he had it on the far side.
Well, that's the play where Joe Tronzo is in the flat, and you have a deeper guy in Scott Long, your wide receiver, running a comeback route off the play action. Like you said, Mike, it looked like a good throw and catch initially, but it must have been bobbled. It must have went right through his arms on the sidelines, and that doesn't bode well for the Cardinals, because they come up on a third down situation. They're 4 of 14 on third down, and you've got a 3rd and 10 situation.
Come back with the same play?
Possibly.
Beaumont in motion to the top of your screen. Straight drop back for Stein, feeling the pressure. He's going down. Sidney Glover, who came into the game with a dinged shoulder. He and Zach Cooper. 3rd sack of the day now for that West Virginia defense.
Well, Glover's going to come from the outside, and nobody blocks him. Just a great job of getting to the quarterback, and you said that Will Stein felt the pressure, and it was the field side pressure from Sidney Glover.
Loss of 4 on the play. Getchy now punting. Brandon Hogan going back to the 5. He takes it at the 4. And Hogan is going down to the 10-yard line. Whatever happened to if it's
10-yard line?
10?
Yeah, I kind of thought that as the ball went to the 5-yard line.
57-yard punt. Corey Getchy's had a rough afternoon, but he gets off a 57-yard punt and a 5-yard return for Brandon Hogan.
Well, this Louisville defense is going to have to tackle the football, because you know the Mountaineers are going to come out and want to play smash mouth. They're going to have Jock Sanders at that running back spot with 2 hands on the football. And they get their starting quarterback back in Jared Brown for this important series.
Brown with 43 yards rushing, just 94 yards passing, 9 of 17 on the day. And no huge surprise to see him back on the field. He says he's going to cherish every moment of being the quarterback of this West Virginia team. He said standing on the sidelines for so long behind Pat White was like almost like being locked in a room and not being able to share your talent with anyone.
Well, you can tell he's not 100% out there, but he's gutting it out, trying to get the victory for the Mountaineers at home, to put them in position in the month of November to get 4 victories and lead them to a Big East title. But they've got to improve from this week to next week if they can get by with the victory, because they got Cincinnati on the horizon.
Brown saying he just loves Saturday afternoons here in Morgantown. Loves singing Country Roads after every victory. Now they're 2:55 away from their 7th this year. Out of the shotgun, Jock Sanders gets another call. Sanders breaking to the outside, and a good pursuit. He's still on his feet. Great balance. Wow, Justin Matthews had great pursuit for Louisville, and they just can't get this guy on the ground.
Yeah, and Steve Cragthorpe's going nuts on the sidelines. It looked like his leg or his knee had touched way back around the 10-yard line, but great balance by Jock Sanders.
Louisville now with 1 timeout remaining as we take another look at Jock Sanders. And
let's take a look as he bounces it outside, Mike, to see if that knee ever touches the ground. I don't think it did.
I'll tell you, he's pretty strong, great balance though, but
let's see if his left knee touches right there. Yes, he's definitely down at the 10-yard line.
So Steve Cragthorpe has a good argument. Great effort, nonetheless, by number 9, Jock Sanders.
And Jock Sanders did a great job of continuing to run because it didn't look like it initially. Yeah, this ball is going to have to come back around the 10-yard line to make it a 3rd and about 11 for the Mountaineers.
2:39 to go. It'll be interesting to see if Louisville can get their hands on that football again offensively.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Just outside the 10.
Is under review.
So Noel Turner, the replay official, will take a look at it up in the booth.
Mountaineers may want to just run the clock on 3rd down. Louisville only has 1 timeout remaining.
Now the Mountaineers, prior to that USF game last week, they had outscored opponents in the second half 96-55, but Louisville holding them to 10 here in the second. It was 7-6 at halftime. Steve Craigthorpe living off of 3 field goals right now. And again, once they were inside the 10, once they were inside the 5, both times, as John pointed out, penalties pushed them back.
Yeah, 25 yards in penalties.
Earlier, Steve Craigthorpe said, you know, even with this football team, we haven't had any problem getting into the red zone. We've had a tough time finishing in the red zone.
We talked about this team, about the great character that he has on this team, and they continue to battle, and that's what he's most proud of. You know, through all the adversity and all the injuries and all the things that have happened to this team this year, he's very proud that this team has never let up, and it showed today. I mean, their effort has been outstanding today. You know, playing their 3rd quarterback, their freshman walk-on quarterback, and keeping him in the game with 2:39 left to go. I think he's done a great job of calling the game to just keep them in the football game.
And keep in mind that freshman quarterback has never lost a football game since starting his high school career. He comes in at 5'8", listed at 5'10", and it was interesting. He said, you know, obviously he's got swagger, but he said, you know, you don't throw over people anyway. You throw between people. You look for passing lanes. And
yeah, you look for passing lanes, but it's always easier when you're Jared Brown and you're 6'4", that you could also throw over people as well. It's tougher for smaller cornerbacks, and I know where he's coming from.
Obviously, he's a big fan of Doug Flutie and even Todd Reesing, the quarterback at Kansas, who incidentally was benched last week and taken out of the ball game. And Kansas has a big game against Kansas State today. And it's strange for a quarterback looking over your shoulder, wondering if you're going to get benched, especially when you're the star of the team. You never got benched in your career, though, huh?
Well, my dad benched me once when I was about 9, 10 years old. I threw the wrong tight end.
The runner's knee, his left knee was down at the 10.5-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 2:40. We will have 3rd down. There will be no timeout for Louisville. They will have 2 timeouts remaining.
So Steve Craigthorpe wins the argument, and Bill Stewart now wondering, with a 3rd and 1, if Louisville's going to get that football back. Third and 11.
Timeout, Louisville. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So the Louisville Cardinals now exhausting another timeout, and they've got 1 left. All right, John, let's take a look now at our Good Hands play of the day, brought to you by Allstate.
Yeah, and it was Jock Sanders from the Mountaineers on that screen pass. He eludes, just a nice move to set up the blocking coming from the inside out. Watch the head fake to the inside, and those linemen get way out in front for the Allstate Good Hands play of the day on Jock Sanders.
Sanders coming into the game with 120 career receptions. That's number 7 on the list. And again, he's only a junior, so he has another year to go. Although David Saunders tops the list with 191. Well, that might be pretty safe. But Jock Sanders coming in with 55 catches. He had 53 last year, and he's motivated by that Sporting News article saying that he was the biggest underachiever in the Big East Conference.
And more importantly, he had those 66 yards rushing to fill in for Noel Devine.
Yeah, he's probably having a pretty good time out there, huh?
Yeah.
Former running back. Brown hands off, and Jock Sanders gets the call. He's tripped up, and there's number 38. We talked about him at the top of the show, John Dempsey.
Final timeout. Louisville.
2:32
This will
to
be a
go.
30-second
Louisville
timeout.
uses up their last timeout.
Well, they're going to have one more chance with decent field position, barring a huge punt for Louisville. Now remember, they've only gone, their longest drive today has been 48 yards. So Louisville's going to have to find a way to move the football over 50 yards if the Mountaineers get a decent punt off.
Well, don't forget the Big East Network will bring you more exciting college football action next Saturday, November 14th. Arthur Jones and Syracuse heading into Papa John Stadium to take on Steve Craythorpe and the Louisville Cardinals. All the action gets underway. That's next Saturday, November 14th at noon Eastern only, right here on the Big East Network. You know, that might not be the best marquee game out there on Saturday afternoon, but Syracuse-Louisville, that should be a battle.
It should be a good matchup, especially the way that Louisville came in on the road and playing so tough in a hostile environment today.
Kozlowski now kicking halfway into his end zone. Radcliffe, the young walk-on out of Louisville, Kentucky, gets away from this one. Good punts over 50 yards, and it rolls out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line of Louisville. So Radcliffe was hoping to retrieve it and take it back. A 49-yard punt out of the end zone by Scott Kozlowski.
Well, defensive coordinator Jeff Castile has been bringing a lot of pressure for Bill Stewart's Mountaineer defense from the field. And I would continue, if they're going to bring pressure, bring it from the field, because Louisville's offensive line and running backs have yet to pick up that blitz. And they've had a free blitzer from the wide side of the field. So that's been giving the young quarterback, Will Stein, some problems.
There's a final from Pittsburgh now, 37-10. Pitt, they go to 5-0. Cincinnati playing UConn later tonight in Cincinnati. That's Doug Beaumont. Moving to the top of your screen. Stein wants to work out of the shotgun. Comes out firing, has his man. That's Beaumont at the 40. Slips a tackle, and he's going to actually lose some yardage on the second effort as Nate Sowers, the fifth-year senior from Martinsburg, West Virginia, makes the stop. A loss of 3 on the play.
And now Louisville will have to get to the line of scrimmage. A loss of 3, as you call it, so 2nd and 13 for the young quarterback.
Stein looking, finding his big tight end, Graham. And Cameron Graham, shy of the 50. They had to get down to about the 49 for the first down. Clock is running. Minute 45.
Plenty of time if they want to run the football here in 3rd and short.
Stein steps up in the pocket, takes off, moves to the outside. Stein out of bounds, stopping that clock at about the 42-yard line. A gain of 10 on the play, first down, and this is the kind of game that a guy with swagger like Will Stein lives for.
Well, he's been waiting for this opportunity and waiting for this moment. Now with 1:29 left to go in the game, he does a nice job of never hesitating. Once he pulled that football down, he knew where the markers were to get to the first down. He found a way to get out of bounds for Steve Craythorpe, and now he can call play and huddle up with a minute 29 left.
And it's going to be a long minute 29 for Bill Stewart and his coaching staff. Watching Stein go to work. There comes that defensive pressure again. That's the 4th sack on the day as Miller, the 6'4", 250-pound redshirt sophomore from Columbus, picks up his 2nd. A loss of 4 on the play. A minute 9 to go. 2nd and 14. Another sack. And again it's Miller. 5 sacks on the day, 3 by Miller.
That's the only thing, Mike, you can't do is take a sack in this situation, and the young quarterback's taken 2 in a row.
Loss of 10 on the play. Stein fires, and this one's going to fall incomplete. He took a shot right after releasing the football. So that Mountaineer pressure, getting the job done.
The 2nd sack he really couldn't help because there was no one open downfield, but the first one, he had a guy in the flat where he could have maybe thrown the football away and not and saved some of that time on the clock. So now you've got a 4th down situation, 4th and 24 with 42 seconds left to go in this game. It's one of those you just have to be able to get the football off and give your receivers an opportunity to come down with the football.
They have to get all the way to the 32-yard line for the first down. Stein going for broke, and this one is going to be incomplete. Hogan thought he had the INT. And was probably, well, it was a wise decision just to knock that down, but I think Hogan
he was trying to catch it. He was trying to catch the football, and it bounced off his shoulder pad. So,
John, let's take a look now at our Liberty Mutual play of the game.
Yeah, and Tavon Austin from the Mountaineers. He's been explosive, and he did a nice job of taking this end around, and watch the acceleration inside the 5 and the toughness shown running over the would-be tackler around the 2-yard line, and did a nice job of getting into the end zone for the Mountaineers. Just ran right over the tackler about the 2-yard line. So young freshman Tavon Austin doing a great job.
Austin, the heir apparent to Noel Devine here, and Jarrett Brown 30 seconds away from singing Country Roads one more time. Tavon Austin, young freshman, Penn State. They thought he had him wrapped up, but he said, you know what, I think I'm in the Steve Slayton, Noel Devine mode. And Jarrett Brown, that's going to be the last play of the ball game. 14 seconds to go as the teams will shake hands. And John, your thoughts of the game? A valiant effort by Louisville, but they come up short.
Well, it was a great effort and a good job by Steve Cragthorpe to get his team ready to play. But Bill Stewart's Mountaineers did enough on defense. I thought their defense really did a great job in the first half, and his biggest concern now is his quarterback and his running back. The ankles of Noel Devine and Jarrett Brown, are they going to be healthy enough with a week's time to get back and get ready to play on the road against a team that's undefeated in Cincinnati?
You know the old saying, a win is a win is a win, but Bill Stewart telling us in the meeting yesterday they need a good win, not just a win.
They got to win.
Okay, I'll take that. Let's go downstairs. Quinn standing by with Bill Stewart.
Coach, ultimately, what made the difference in this game?
Well, perseverance. I thought defense played their hearts out. Defense played so hard, kept them on the big play. I was really pleased the way we just hung in and didn't give up the big play this week. And offensively, we got into rhythm. We just got so many guys beat up. I don't know who's in now. They were shuffling guys to find a way to win.
You're up 7-6. What changed in that third quarter offensively?
We got into rhythm. We got smart, started making some plays. Jarrett Brown, Noel started going good, and then he got nicked up. So let's see how bad we're hurt. I don't know yet.
A slow start, but I think you got to like the way the game finished.
It's a Big East football. Win's a win. There's never anything as a bad win, believe me. I promise you. This is Big East football. I'll take a win any day of the week.
Coach, you'll see you Friday night in Cincinnati.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks a lot, Quint. I guess you're right. A win is a
win.
Is a win.
A win is a win, and that's right. And they have to be grateful for the way they came out and played defensively. They did enough on offense to win a football game. But today, they're going to have to improve on what they did today offensively, try to get healthy in a week's time and go on the road and try to upset the undefeated Cincinnati Bearcats.
And you look at that West Virginia defense, keeping them in the game. It was 7-6 at halftime, but they played a whale of the first 30 minutes, and they really turned up the pressure. 5 sacks on the day for the Mountaineer defense.
Yeah, the Mountaineer defense did an excellent job of pressuring the young quarterback. I thought Julian Miller played a terrific game. I thought J.T. Thomas and Pat Lazier did a nice job up front in really collapsing the pocket on Will Stein. And no deep balls, no big plays over improvement from last week to this week for this defense.
And for Louisville, Steve Cragthorpe telling us earlier this week, he's got a lot of character guys. No finger pointing. They just show up and play football, and they showed that here today.
And they were as healthy as they've been in a while this week, except for at the quarterback position. You know, they were healthier on defense, and I think it showed, only limiting West Virginia to 17 points. So they did a nice job in that capacity.
5 sacks, 3 of those by Julian Miller. He's standing by with Quinn Kesnick.
Yeah, Julian, 3 sacks. What happened on that last series? Why were you able to get to the quarterback?
Coach Stu been praising all week ever since the loss last week, man. Just give a little more, you know. At the end, it's crunch time, you know what I'm saying? We're only up 8 points, so that's one score. We let these guys score when they're back in the game. So all I did was do what Coach Stu asked and just give a little more, you know.
From where you stood today, what was most impressive with the Mountaineer defense?
We stayed strong, you know what I'm saying? Offense was struggling a little bit, but we held them up, you know. We kept fighting, and we didn't let them, we didn't give up a touchdowns, you know. So we stayed in fighting the whole game, you know. So.
How much has the coaching staff been emphasizing the big play?
Oh, definitely. That was one of the things we tried to eliminate today was the big play. I think we let up maybe one. That's a lot better than what we did last week and we've been doing all season, you know. So I definitely say it's a milestone today. I mean, no touchdowns, not as much big plays as usual. So definitely as a defense, we stepped up today.
Describe the excitement when you look ahead to a Friday night game on National Spotlight coming up.
It sends chills in your body, you know what I'm saying? I'm going back home to Ohio, you know, to play Cincinnati. Looking forward to that. We had to get through today. We got through today, and we're ready to go on the road, you know what I'm saying? Play Mountaineer football.
Julian, congratulations. 3 sacks.
3 sacks, Quint, 8.5 now on the season. Julian Miller came in at 215 pounds. Playing at 250, they say he's going to play at about 270 in a couple of years. He's going to play like a caged tiger by the time he's a senior. There's the number, 17-9, West Virginia winning their 7th game. They go to 7-2. And we'll be back to wrap things up here from Morgantown right after this.
To pursue the life you want, you need a financial advocate who knows where you want to go. A Merrill Lynch financial advisor, now with access to the resources of Bank of America, can help you diversify, rebalance, imagine, and believe. Merrill Lynch Wealth Management.
The Steelers take on the Broncos Monday night at 8:30 right here on WTAE Channel 4. But first, it's Black and Gold Primetime at 7, live from Denver. With Channel 4 Action News, Sally Wiggin, Guy Junker, and John Meyer. Plus, the voice of the Steelers, Bill Hillgrove. Watch Black and Gold Primetime live Monday night at 7, followed by the Steelers and Broncos, right here on WTAE Channel 4. And don't worry, dancing fans, Dancing with the Stars will air Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.
I need about 22. 17-9, the final score. West Virginia goes to 3-1 in the Big East Conference and 7-2 overall. Mike Gleason along with John Congemi, Quinn Kesnick standing by downstairs. And John, your thoughts overall on the conference as we took a look. I asked you last week as we went off the air if it was a 2-horse race. But West Virginia, they've got their work cut out for them with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Rutgers still.
I still think it's a 2-horse race between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Now, West Virginia has an opportunity because they play both of them in back-to-back. Cincinnati next Friday night and then the Panthers the day after Thanksgiving. So the table is set for West Virginia. Can they improve on today's performance enough to beat a good Cincinnati team on the road that spreads you out offensively, that plays really good defense, great special teams? Can they improve? That's the biggest question.
Well, Pittsburgh already with a notch in the win column today. Cincinnati playing under the lights tonight. Let's check in with Quinn. More on that game.
Yeah, Mike, a couple of points tonight for Cincinnati. Tony Pike returned to practice on Wednesday with a new brace for his non-throwing arm. Continue to practice at full bore this week, but Zach Collaros will start for Cincinnati tonight. It's a Cincinnati team that's won 14 straight regular season games. And if you're a Cincinnati Bearcat fan, I hope you have tickets because they have sold out the remainder of their home schedule this year.
Well, Quint, John, the question I have to pose to you, you look at UConn, they lost here at West Virginia on a 56-yard touchdown late in the game. Noel Devine, the game we did last week, they lost. Tim Brown went 81 yards with just 22 seconds to go. What do they have left in the tank as they go into Cincinnati?
Boy, I don't know. That's an awful tough task to go on the road after losing here at West Virginia, losing at home, losing your teammate a couple weeks ago. That's going to be a tough task to try to get all that emotion back and try to harness it and win against a team that's playing at a very high level. And it really doesn't matter if they're missing their starting quarterback or not. They're playing at a high level, and it's a great team all around.
All right, buddy, you've got about 20 seconds. What do you take from this game? Good defensive effort, up and down offensively.
Yeah, I think West Virginia played tough defensively, but they're going to have to get more consistent offensively to try to hang with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in the next couple of weeks.
Beautiful Saturday, sunny afternoon. A win is a win is a win. 17-9 the final score. For John Congemi, Quint Kesnick, our entire Big East Network crew, Mike Gleason saying so long. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN Regional Television, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports. 17-9 West Virginia, heading for Cincinnati next week. So long, everybody, from Morgantown.